Hey, what's going on, everybody? Are you thinking about doing Amazon Flex? Well, I'm about to tell you exactly how much money you make. Now, they claim between $18 and $25 an hour, and in some cases that may be true, but they don't tell you about all the expenses like gas and mileage and where you're going to wind up. Sometimes you'll wind up close to your house, and sometimes you're going to wind up way out there. So I live about 20 miles from the facility, and I always start my route from the time I leave my house to the time I get back to my house, because that's the total time that I'm working. Now, when you're working at a normal job, typically they don't pay you to leave your house, but as an independent contractor, you need to pay yourself from the time you start to the time you end. So if you end 120 miles away, you're still technically on duty. In my head, it's always been that way. If I'm 120 miles away, my home base is my house. All right, my home base isn't a brick and mortar office or anything like that. So it's the time I start work, from the time that I leave this house and get to the Amazon facility, do the route, and drive all the way back. I'm going to give you the actual numbers, and those numbers are not even going to be close to that $18 to $25 an hour. But this is going to give you the most realistic thing that I've seen on the internet of how much you actually make. And you're going to be surprised. Sometimes it's less than minimum wage. All right? So the first shift that I did, that I'm going to start with, is $81. It was an $81 4.5 hour block. I spent $21 in fuel. So you got to take that off the 81. All right? That brings my total profit to 60 bucks. All right. And if I have my engine time written down on here, gas paid 21, engine time was 5 hours. So I'm going to divide that by 5 hours, and I made 12 bucks an hour from the time I left to the time I made it back to the house. So that's your actual pay of what you're making as an independent contractor. Now, if you live like right next door to an Amazon facility, that pay is going to go up. But once you get done taking your gas expenses out, you're looking at $12 an hour. Now, if you take maintenance costs and stuff, you can go down as low as $8 an hour. This is the truth of what you are making on an Amazon Flex route. That was 130 miles. So that route, I did 130 miles from my house to the facility for the route and back. And some of these get even higher. The next one I did was 92.50. It was a 4.5 hour block, I believe. Nope, it was a 5 hour block. And I actually had 5 hours on it. So let's go 92.50. And on this route, I drove 138 miles. And I spent... Well, we didn't put the gas on that one. Gas is roughly 30 bucks, so I'm going to take 30 bucks off of that. That means I made a profit of $62.50 in 5 hours, divided by 5 hours. I made $12.50 an hour. That's way... You are making $18 to $20 an hour, but you got to remember, if you're putting gas in your car, that's not your money. That's the fuel station. That's just part of your business expenses. So that first one, I made 12 bucks. I made $12.50 an hour on that one. The next one we got here, well, hell, it says the gas expenses were 56 bucks. So let's see what we made on this one right here. I might have lost money on this sucker. 88 minus 56. But I think we did two routes.
We did two routes that day.
Yeah, we did two routes this day. So this one right here is going to look pretty sad. Equals 32 bucks, and that was a 5 hour day divided by 5. So on the third route, I made $6.40 an hour. Now tell me if that's even close to 18 to 24. But you know, there's millions of people out there, and people just are all the time accepting. So $6.40 after gas and expenses and time on the third route. And this was on 3/1/2020. Is it 2025? It's 2025 right now. So the next one I did, I made $81. it took 7 hours and 15 minutes. So I wound up way the heck out somewhere on this one. Or that's how long the engine was running for. So on this next block, I made 81 bucks. Divided by, minus my fuel. Gas was 45.08. I have minus 45.08. Means 35.92. And this was a, how many hour block was this? I'm looking here, people. Well, it took 7 hours and 15 minutes, according to this, divided by 7.25. So on my fourth block that I did for $81, I made $4.95 an hour profit. They're lying, because these are the real numbers. These are the real numbers after all of your expenses. You got to ask yourself, is this something that you want to do? I do it part-time to make a little extra money. But sometimes, whenever you see $4.95, you're like, well, what the hell? How do they get away with it? They hire you as an independent contractor, and they don't have to pay you. That's one of the reasons why I firmly believe Amazon is so successful and is a high-value company, because they don't have to pay what they would if you were a W-2 employee, you see? And then you're putting all the wear and tear and everything on your vehicle. But some of these routes we've come up with $12.50 an hour. This is your actual pay that you're making. Now, the next one I did for 111 miles. It was an $81 route. 81. And I had how much in expenses and fuel on this one right here? $26.04 in fuel. Okay, that gives me $54.96. So on this route, I had 4 hours, and engine time was 4 hours and 46 minutes. We'll just divide that by 4.75 hours. And that comes out to $11.57 an hour. That's not close to the $12 to $18 to $25 an hour neither. So these are minimum base rates. We'll get into some here that I took. So this was a 3-hour route, I do believe. Average time, block time. Yeah, this was a 3-hour for $68.50. We're on a different block here. $68.50. And then I had $15.51 in fuel, so there wasn't a lot of fuel on that route. But it was a 3-hour shift, so $52.99, and I divide that by my total time, which it was a 3.5-hour route. And on that one right there, I came out to $15.14. That's the first route that I did where I actually made the minimum of what they say you make per hour, minus my expenses. So we did decent on that one. Some of these routes are like 3.5 hours. I forfeited that one 45 minutes early due to weather. This one right here is another one. This is $90. Let's figure out what the expenses are here. $39 in gas. $90 minus 39. And this right here is a 4.5-hour block. So $90, that gives me $51 in profit after I put money in the gas tank, and we divide that by 4.5. And I come up to a grand total of $11.33 an hour. These are the real numbers of what you make. Now, if you got a high mileage vehicle, or you got an electric car, but a lot of us don't. A lot of us are driving gasoline, gas guzzlers. Some of you may get better fuel mileage than I do. I get about 19 miles a gallon on a good day. and about 16.9 on a regular day because I have one of the large cargo vans. All right, so the next shift we did, I'm just going through these because I write down my gas, my mileage, and everything. Actually, my wife does because I probably wouldn't do it. Let me get back here to my calculator. I'm just doing some simple math here. So the next one I got paid 81. So 81 is like your base pay, right? This is the ones that a lot of people say don't take the base pay because you don't make hardly any money, especially if you live a long ways away. This one right here paid $81, and I had how much money in fuel? $18.27 minus 18.27 gives me $62.73. This was a 4.5 hour block. That leaves me to $13.94 an hour. That's not even close to the 15 to 20 to 25 or whatever they say. So that's my actual pay. That's my actual pay. If you add the price that you pay for fuel, it does go up into that 15. But what you're actually making, no, it's not even close to that. All right, next one. We have I can't see where's the damn here. Engine time. Doesn't even say what that one. Oh, $90. Okay. $90 minus my fuel cost was $30. $30, and then we will go to that was a 4.5 hour block. That leaves me with $60. That's actually considered my money. Okay. $13.33 an hour. That's what I got paid for that block for 4.5 hours. Next block we have here is this one took 5 hours, 42 packages. I should be putting the packages down. Gas cost was $32.94, and it paid $86. All right, 86 minus 32.94. So this is one of those routes that really got me way away from the house whenever it ended. So that left me with $53, and it took me 5.5 hours to complete it to get back to the house. And that left me with a grand total of $9.64 an hour. Woohoo! Big money. If you're thinking you're going to become a millionaire driving for Amazon Flex, you're definitely not. So you got to have some other things. Like we've got vending machines, and I've got a landscape business, so I do Amazon Flex for different reasons than a lot of people. So I'm out there delivering, I'm making money, and I've got a huge billboard on the side of my van that advertises my landscape business, and I've picked up quite a few jobs over the years driving for Amazon. So that's where I make my money at. But if you're driving for Amazon trying to make some extra money, you can, but if you're in a lot of debt, this may not be the thing for you. It'll get you out of debt, but it's going to be slow, and it's going to be painful. And if you're not used to this type of work, delivering packages and stuff like that, it's going to stress you out pretty quick and make you probably want to quit. And the other thing, let's move to another. Oh, here's another one right here. $88 for this block. Now, some of the people that are out there may notice that I'm giving these rates, and these rates probably are minimums. So I'll accept blocks because it may be on one of my vending machine routes, or, you know, you'll accept blocks because you really need the freaking money, and, you know, you get paid instantly. That's one of the nice things about it, as soon as you're done. And I would say one of the cool things about it is if you do your books and stuff like that, you probably won't pay any taxes because you'll make well underneath. I think that if you're single If you make $12,000 a year, you don't even have to pay taxes on the first 12,000. And if you're married, I don't think you need to pay taxes on the first 24,000 just from your standard deduction that you get. So this is one of those jobs where, as long as you don't make over that amount, you know, with me, with other businesses and stuff like that, it might wind up being over. But I try not to make over $24,000 a year simply because I don't want to pay any taxes if possible. So, you know, people like, I live very, very below my means, below what I can do. Next one is $88. And our gas cost was $12. That was a pretty good route, I suppose. Minus 12. And that was 4 hours. 4.5 hours. And on that route, I made $16.88. So if I get a route that ends really close to the house, it really helps. But you don't know if you're going to get that. That would be a cool thing, is if they could look at your license and, you know, if you were like the first in line, you know, if they looked at your license and it would just automatically assign you a route that ended in your hometown. You know, I don't know how many times I have gone up there and people are like, man, I really do not want to go to this town, and it's where I live, and they wind up sending me in the opposite direction, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's over 2 million people on the Flex app, and if you think you're important, you're really not. You know, they'll give you like these electronic badges and stuff like that, but that's probably done by an AI program, and they don't really care about you. You'll get dinged on just about anything that you do, so... And it's a computer that's pretty much running the deal. Every once in a while, a person may look at it or something like that, but you're disposable. You're disposable like in any job, and you're replaceable. And if you go up and you're picking up at one of these big facilities, you're going to find out there's a lot of people. And you're not the most important person in the world, and they know it. And they're going to make their money, and they're going to keep making their money. So you might as well just get in there, make your money. Don't take it too seriously, and do not put yourself at a safety risk. If it's bad weather, cancel your block. You got 45 minutes. You know, don't be out there in the rain thinking that I'm going to be the best person in the world and I'm going to go over and beyond, because I can tell you the computer system and the emails and stuff that you get for every little thing, even if a customer receives a package and creates a fraudulent claim, you will get dinged for it. So don't even worry about all that. I have no idea why that part of the system works that way, but the thing is, Amazon is a huge machine. It's got a lot of people. And trust me, you're not the most special person in it. And you need to take that as truthful advice. You're not the most special person. There's someone that's going to replace you. There's 5 people probably signing up for the Amazon Flex app today that wasn't there tomorrow. Those are your replacements. All right? So take that as it is. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I am saying don't get out there and think that you're the number one person. You know, I don't know what it is with these little badges and the fantastic rating and stuff like that and the great rating. I mean, I think it's more of a way to filter out people. You know, it gets rid of people in times of supply and demand, you know, and they play with your emotions to do it. Don't let that happen. Just realize you're just delivering packages and you're making a little bit of extra money. That's all it is. It's nothing more than that. You're making money. Amazon's getting something done. You're basically trading time for dollars, like with anything. But as far as being straight up front with you, I think that this is probably one of the most upfront videos I could give you about making money. I'm going to try to find just one of these that we did that was way above base. I'm not going to go through it, but this is your average. You're looking at anywhere between $6 and $12 an hour for driving, and you're using your own car, putting your own wear and tear on it. And I'm just talking about gas prices. Don't forget about your tires. Don't forget about your antifreeze. Don't forget about your air conditioning. Don't forget about your coolant. Don't forget about your basic oil changes and stuff that you're going to have to do, because your average route for me is 100 to 160 miles per day. That's how much extra time you're going to put on your vehicle. So at about every 15 routes, you're going to be needing to put that 3,000 mile oil change, which you can take off an extra $40, or if you do it yourself, you can take down a little bit more. But this is Amazon Flex driving, and I've got a route here in a couple hours, and it only pays like $63. And you don't know where you're going. That's the thing. You don't know where you're going, and it might wind up at the house. You could wind up, I think a couple days ago, we wound up 70 miles further away than my house. So 70, that's 90 miles to come back. And those are the things that kind of get to people. Anyway, I hope this helped you out with the Amazon Flex. And it's really a pretty cool thing as far as making a little bit of extra money. But as far as it being a full-time job and supporting your family, I would say no. As far as getting out and seeing the community, if that's something you want to do, it's a great way to do it. If you own another business and you're trying to advertise and you got a giant billboard on the side of your vehicle, that helps out. And just follow the rules of what it says. But even if you follow those rules, understand that you're still going to get dinged for stuff. They call it getting dinged, but you're going to get an email and say that, even though you delivered it and you took a picture, and you're going to deal with dogs, and I'm going to say that 99% of the dogs out there are friendly dogs. I mean, they're going to bark whenever they see you, but you're going to come in contact with one every week that seems a little bit vicious. And sometimes you might go to some shady areas of town. Just making sure that you're dropping off the packages and getting the deliveries, and regardless of how good you do, if you do that, there's customers out there that'll order stuff, they will receive it, and they'll put on their I have the option as an Amazon customer, for instance. I order from Amazon all the time. This is how it works. If I wanted to have a bad day and I was like, I don't like that driver, I mean, I didn't even have to even like you. All I have to do is just put something negative down, and that driver's going to get dinged. Maybe the nicest person in the world. Every customer can do that. Every customer, all they have to do is complain one time, and you're going to get held liable for it. They can lie and say that they didn't receive the package, even though they received it because it wasn't handed to them directly. They can say, hey, Amazon, I didn't receive my package. Even though they did, and they're fraudulent as hell, you're still going to get hit for it. All right? So all those little things, just understand, people are people. There's good people out here. There's bad people out here. I have my own businesses. I have good customers, and I have customers who I'll never work for again. But in the case of Amazon, don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. And if they tell you that you're kicked off the app because you did everything right, and you may be, you could be a driver that's just a piece of shit, and you don't do anything right, and you get dinged and you get kicked out of the program. That's what it's designed for. But there's a lot of drivers out there that do this on a regular basis, and I'm talking good drivers. I'm going to say 99% of people are probably good drivers, with 1% being don't care. There's people that probably come into Amazon and probably just take off with the whole damn load, bring it back to the house. They've probably been put in jail for it and everything else. But understand that whenever you go out there and you make these deliveries, not everybody's perfect. The computer thinks you need to be perfect. It thinks you need to be just like it. So when you get these little things, these emails, they send you an email say the customer didn't receive their package. You cannot respond to this email. All right, you can call up support and stuff like that, but most of the time whenever I talk to support, I'm going to say 50% of the time I get someone that can actually solve my problem. And that's because there's a large, like I said, Amazon is a huge machine. It's constantly hiring people on a regular basis, and it takes a little bit for an employee to get trained up well. And no matter what company you're in, sometimes employees will get trained up well, and they actually are very good employees, and they wind up quitting because of no recognition or anything like that. Just because you give me an electronic badge, that's not my idea of recognition. Just because you say that I've got this rating that's fantastic or great or fair or at risk, that doesn't matter to me. What really matters to me is putting money in my pocket so that I can take care of my family and grow my businesses. That's what really matters to me. Now, what matters to you may be completely different. But, you know, I could put up with a lot of stuff if I get paid decent. And then there's some stuff that you can pay me $1 million an hour for, and I won't even work for you. So that's the way it works. I hope this helps you out with learning a little bit about Amazon. This is a 25-minute video. And everybody, have yourself a good day. Happy flexing out there. And that's all I got. Good day.